There's a moment that happens to almost every person who tries to invest. It's usually around 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. You pull up your brokerage app for what feels like the 100th time that month. You've been contributing $500, maybe $1,000 every month for years. You stare at the balance and something clicks, and that something is usually, is this even doing anything? If you've had that exact moment, you're not being paranoid. The math from where you're sitting actually does look broken. And that feeling is the single most expensive emotion in personal finance. It's the reason most people die without ever building real wealth. Not because they didn't earn enough, because they quit during the part where compound interest is designed to look pointless. And here's the thing nobody explains. Compound interest isn't one experience. It's 7 completely distinct levels, each with its own math and its own breaking point. If you don't know which one you're on, you'll do what 90% of people do, which is pull the plug right before the good part starts. So let me back up and explain what I actually mean by that. My name is Nick, and I spend way too much time thinking about why some people end up wealthy and others end up stuck on the same treadmill for 40 years. And the honest answer is that compound interest has 7 distinct phases, and almost everyone quits in the second one. Not because they're dumb, because the early levels are designed to feel pointless. So if you've ever looked at your investment account, felt absolutely nothing, and wondered if you're being scammed by your own discipline, hit that subscribe button and let's break this down together. Before we get into the levels, let me set the scene with one simple scenario. $500 a month invested in a basic index fund, earning roughly 10% a year, which is what the S&P 500 has done on average since 1926. That's it. No fancy stock picking, no crypto moonshots, no side hustle, just a boring automated $500 transfer every month into an account you don't touch. This is what Casey does. This is what Jake did, at least for a while. And I'm gonna walk you through exactly what that money does year by year, level by level, because once you see the actual shape of it, you'll understand why compounding feels broken for a decade and then suddenly feels like magic. Let's start at the beginning. Level 1, the 0 year. This is where 90% of the population gets introduced to compound interest and immediately decides it's a scam. Casey signs up for the account on her 23rd birthday. She automates the $500 transfer. She feels very responsible about it. She tells her roommate she's investing now, like some sort of adult. And then she waits a year, she contributes a total of $6,000, and she logs in, expecting to see her money working. Spoiler alert, it's not. Her balance is approximately $6,283. That's it. She put in $6,000 and made $283. Let me say that again, $283. That's not generational wealth. That's barely one grocery run. That's not even enough to cover her phone bill for 3 months. Her money is essentially a polite piggy bank with social anxiety at this stage. It's technically working, it's just, not impressive. Jake is sitting at the exact same balance, same contributions, same return, same $283. And right now, at the end of year 1, the two of them are completely identical, no gap, no difference, nothing separating their financial futures. This is the moment where most people think, what's the point? I could have spent that $6,000 on a used car or a vacation, or honestly, literally anything more enjoyable than watching my account grow by $283. And look, I get it, because in a world of TikTok millionaires and overnight crypto winners, $283 for a full year of discipline feels like getting laughed at by the universe. But here's what's actually happening. Casey and Jake aren't building wealth yet. They're building a base. They're laying the first row of bricks on a foundation that's going to support something massive. The problem is, from ground level, all foundations look the same. They look like dirt. And this is where we graduate into the phase most people never survive. Level 2, the discouragement phase. This runs from roughly year 2 to year 5, and this is, without exaggeration, the most psychologically brutal stretch of the entire compounding journey. By year 3, Casey's balance is $20,891. By year 5, she's at $38,719. On paper, that sounds okay, but here's the catch. She's contributed $30,000 of that herself. Her actual investment growth over 5 full years of discipline is less than $9,000. That's about $10 a day in interest by year 5. $10 a day, that's not even a decent lunch. Meanwhile, her coworker just bought a new truck on a 7-year loan. Her cousin's living in a bigger apartment than her, and her brain is quietly screaming, what am I actually doing this for? And here's where Jake breaks. Year 4. balance around $30,000. He does the math in his head, decides compound interest is a lie cooked up by finance guys, and cashes out. Pulls the whole thing, uses it as a down payment on a new truck, and this is it. This is the decision that costs him $3 million over the next 36 years. He just doesn't know it yet. There's a famous study by a firm called Dalbar that tracked investor behavior over 20 years. They found that the average investor earned only 4.3% a year during a period when the S&P 500 itself returned 8.2% a year. The gap isn't because the market was rigged, it's because people kept pulling a Jake. They saw the flat numbers, decided compound interest was a myth, and cashed out. That decision on average cost them half their potential wealth. The whole game is won or lost right here. Not in your stock picks, right here, in the boring stretch where you have to trust the math when the math isn't showing you anything yet, because something interesting is about to happen for the people who didn't quit. Level 3, the first crossover. This happens between years 7 and 10. By year 7, Casey's balance is around $60,475. By year 10, she hits $102,422. And yes, she just crossed 6 figures. And real quick, if you're sitting at level 1 or level 2 right now feeling dumb for still being there, I need you to hear this. That feeling is the design, not a flaw in you. The system is built so the early years feel pointless. That's not because you're doing it wrong, it's because compounding doesn't show you anything until it's ready to. You're not failing, you're just early. Back to Casey, hitting $100,000 isn't just a round number. There's a famous quote from Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's late business partner, and I'm going to paraphrase him here. He essentially said the first $100,000 is a real grind, but you have to do it. Walk everywhere, eat nothing that wasn't bought with a coupon, whatever it takes, because once you hit $100,000, the game changes, and he's right. The first $100,000 takes Casey about 10 years. The second $100,000 takes her roughly 5 years. The third takes about 3. Because once she's got a 6-figure base, the account starts generating serious returns on its own, and those returns start compounding on top of her contributions. At year 10, her money is earning about $28 a day in growth. $28 a day. That's a real number. That's like a part-time job her money is doing while she sleeps. Meanwhile, Jake just turned 33. He's driving a truck that's now worth about $9,000. He keeps telling his friends he's going to start investing again once things settle down. Things are not going to settle down, but we'll get back to him because Casey's about to unlock something most people never see. Level 4, the snowball. Years 10 through 15. This is the level where compound interest finally stops being a theory and starts being a force. At year 15, Casey's balance hits $207,235. She's contributed $90,000 total. Her growth, over $117,000. Let that sink in for a second. Her money has now made her more money than she has by saving from her salary. Her investment account is quite literally a better employee than she is. It doesn't take PTO. It doesn't have opinions about the new office layout. It doesn't send weird Slack messages at 11 p.m. It just shows up every single day and makes money. In year 15 alone, her account grows by roughly $22,000 from compounding alone. That's more than 3 times her annual contribution, and something strange starts happening to her brain around this time. She's less stressed about money, even though nothing in her life has visibly changed. Her rent is still her rent. Her job is still her job. But somewhere in the back of her head, she knows there's this growing thing that's working for her 24/7 without asking for a raise. By the way, if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. It legitimately helps the channel, and it takes you about half a second. All right, back to it because things are about to get really interesting. Level 5, the acceleration, years 15 to 20. And before I walk you through this, I want you to actually do something. Pause the video for a second if you need to. Open your brokerage app. Look at your balance, then write down the date you started contributing, because everything I'm about to tell you only works if you know where you are on this map. Most people have no idea what level they're on. They're just vaguely investing. Don't be vague. Know your number, okay? Casey, year 20, balance, $379,684. She's contributed $120,000 of her own money. That means compounding has added roughly $260,000 all on its own. Her account is earning about $104 a day in passive growth. That's $3,000 a month. Every 4 days, her money is essentially buying itself a full tank of gas and dinner. That's not an expression. That's literally what's happening. Her portfolio has become the kind of employee every company wishes they had. It never asks for a raise. It never calls in sick. It never announces it's going on a silent retreat to Tulum. It just shows up every single day and compounds. She hasn't changed anything. Same $500 a month. She started with at 23, same index fund, same autopilot, but her outcomes are wildly different because by year 20, more than 2/3 of her account balance is growth, not contribution. She's officially flipped the equation. For every dollar she puts in, the market has given her 2 more. And let me pause here because this is the level nobody prepares you for emotionally. When Casey's car breaks down, she doesn't panic. When her job gets weird, she doesn't spiral. When a friend invites her on a trip she wasn't expecting to afford, she actually goes, not because she's rich. Casey doesn't feel rich at level 5. She feels something better, she feels secure, and that's a completely different emotional state than most people ever experience as adults. The problem is almost nobody reaches level 5 because getting here requires doing something boring for 2 decades while every ad on the planet tries to convince you to spend it on a boat, level 6. The inflection point, years 20 to 25. This is the stretch where quiet millionaires are built, and I mean quiet because level 6 people don't look rich. They're the ones who show up to a backyard barbecue in a 2014 Camry and then 6 months later quietly buy the house next door in cash. That's the level 6 aesthetic. No chrome, no flex, no Instagram, just math. By year 25, Casey's balance is around $663,417. She's contributed $150,000 total. Compounding has added over $513,000 on its own. Her annual growth is almost $70,000. Her investment account is now generating a median American salary just by existing. It's pulling in a full-time income without a resume, without an alarm clock, without a single meeting, and mathematically, Casey is now ahead of about 85% of Americans her age. According to Fidelity's most recent data, the average 401k balance for someone in their 50s is around $212,000, with a median balance closer to $77,000. Casey has more than triple that. And she didn't get there by making a lot more money, she got there by staying on the same boring autopilot for 25 straight years. Meanwhile, Jake is 48. He started investing again about 3 years ago after reading a book on a flight. He's putting in $300 a month. His balance is about $14,000. He keeps telling himself he'll ramp it up once the kids are out of college. The kids are not out of college. The most fascinating part about level 6 people is that they almost never talk about it. Casey's closest friends have no idea what's in her account. Because when you're at this level, you stop needing the validation. The balance is the receipt. Level 7, the exponential phase, years 25 to 40, this is where the math stops making sense to human brains. By year 30, Casey's balance crosses $1.13 million. Yes, million with an M. By year 35, she's at $1.9 million. By year 40, she's sitting on $3.16 million from contributing $500 a month. That's $240,000 total contributions over 40 years. And her account is worth roughly 13 times what she put in. At year 40, her money is earning around $866 a day in passive growth. That's roughly what a plumber charges on a Sunday to fix your water heater. Every day, every single day, her portfolio is doing a plumber's weekend shift for her. Her money is now out earning a lot of working adults, and it's doing it while she's sleeping, eating breakfast, or trying to figure out the new TV remote. This is the level Warren Buffett famously exists at. Roughly 99% of Buffett's net worth was built after he turned 50. Not because he got smarter after 50, because his compounding hit level 7. And now we come to the part about Jake. Jake is 63, he has about $48,000. He works full-time. He keeps telling his coworkers he's going to retire at 70, maybe 72, depending on the market. The truck he bought at 27 was sold for scrap 18 years ago. The decision he made in level 2, the decision that felt completely reasonable, completely justified, completely rational at the time, cost him $3 million. He doesn't know it's $3 million, he just knows he's tired. Here's the cruel thing about compound interest, and this is the part you have to sit with. It punishes the people who need it most. If Casey had waited 10 years to started at 33 instead of 23, her balance at 63 wouldn't be $3.16 million. It would be about $1.13 million. Waiting 10 years would have cost her $2 million for $60,000 worth of missed contributions. That's not a typo, because the early years of compounding, the ones that feel the most pointless, are actually the most valuable years you'll ever have. Not because of the money you're adding, but because those dollars are the ones with the most runway. A dollar you invest at 22 has 40 years to double, then double again, and keep doubling until it has grown 45 times over. A dollar you invest at 42 only has enough time to double maybe twice. The cruelty is that compounding looks least impressive exactly when it's doing its most important work. That's why Jake quit, and that's why Casey didn't. So let me give you the reframe that actually matters here. Compound interest isn't about being smart. It's not about being rich. It's not about finding the next Tesla or timing the market. It's about one thing: staying in your seat. That's the entire game. Casey didn't do anything special. She just refused to look at her boring account balance in year 3 and do something dumb about it. That's it. That's the whole strategy. So if you're at level 1 right now and your balance looks like a rounding error, you're not failing, you're early. If you're in level 2 and you're watching your friends buy things you can't, you're not missing out. You're on a delay. And if you're in level 3 or higher and you can feel the numbers finally starting to move, congratulations. You've already passed the hardest part. Don't touch it. Don't reallocate it. Don't get cute. Don't pull a Jake. The real lesson in all of this isn't financial, it's psychological. The hardest part about getting wealthy isn't earning the money, it's not spending it, it's not reacting to it, it's ignoring it for 20 years, while it slowly, quietly, rudely refuses to show you what it's actually doing. Until one day, you check your account and realize you're not the same person you used to be. If this video helped it click for you, drop a comment telling me which level you're on right now. Hit subscribe for more breakdowns like this one, and I'll see you in the next one.